The American alligator is one of the US's most iconic and famous animals, with entire states being associated with its name. And it's not exactly hard to see why it has become so well known, as it does possess a variety of remarkable features and traits. Its reputation has also been helped by the fact that many people believe it to be one of a kind, as unlike crocodiles or caimans, the alligator can only be found in one country. However, this isn't actually the case, rather just a popular misconception, as alligators can be found in just one other nation, and it probably would have been your last guess: China. It is here that the Chinese alligator can be found, the only known alligator species besides the one seen in America. Its existence may come as a surprise, as China isn't exactly close to North America, which begs the question of how exactly did alligators end up there? The answer is, scientists aren't so sure, but what they do know is that alligators in North America predate the Chinese alligator by roughly 5 million years, meaning that at some point they likely migrated from North America to Asia, with the most supported hypothesis being through the Bering Strait. Once across, the alligator settled in China, eventually giving rise to the Chinese alligator we know of today. Similar to its American counterpart, the Chinese alligator can be found in slow-moving rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, swamps, and marshes. However, compared to its close relative, the Chinese gator has experienced a high degree of habitat loss, forcing it to live in higher altitudes where it experiences colder weather that it's not as accustomed to. This habitat loss has also severely restricted its range within the country, and as of today, it is only found in 6 counties and cities in eastern China, whereas once upon a time it was present in lands as far away as Japan. The loss of its natural home was mainly due to the human population in the area, who destroyed wetland habitats in order to build rice paddies and dams. As a result, not only did this reptile lose its habitat, but its population has also been heavily affected. And to make matters worse, humans used to not only eradicate wetlands, but also target the alligator itself. This was done for a few reasons, including that people believed its meat to have healing properties, while others thought it was a dragon and thus its flesh would give them strength. And then there were those who hunted it down as it was either regarded as a pest or a threat, which is somewhat questionable, as unlike the American alligator, the Chinese one is very small, typically only growing between 1.5 and 2.1 meters, or 5 to 7 feet in length, while weighing less than 45 kilograms or 100 pounds as an adult. At this small size, the Chinese alligator isn't actually a threat to humans and tends to only hunt snails, crustaceans, insects, fish, young waterfowl, and rodents. Even to this day, no known fatal attack on humans has been recorded. Sadly though, its aversion to humans hasn't changed how it is treated, and today it is considered critically endangered, with approximately only 300 individuals remaining in the wild. Another problem this reptile faces is that females only lay around 20 to 30 eggs during breeding season, which may sound like a lot, but is actually on the lower end for a crocodilian, making the repopulation a bit more challenging. On top of this, the Chinese alligator lays the smallest eggs of its kind, equivalent to that of a small chicken egg, making them quite vulnerable to external harm. This size also extends to newborns, which come out as the smallest baby of any known crocodilian. As a result, they depend on their mothers for the first winter, as they are highly susceptible to attacks. Despite all the seemingly drawbacks of this alligator, it still does have in fact traits on its side that has helped it endure through the ages, one of which is its armor. Crocodilians in general are well known for being armored, but the Chinese alligator took self-defense to a whole nother level, as it is completely covered in scales and osteoderms that make piercing its armor quite the challenge. In fact, its armor is so effective that besides humans, it has no real predator or threats as an adult. Another strength this crocodilian possesses is a unique one: vocalization. The Chinese alligator, for lack of better words, is a good communicator. It has access to an array of different sounds that it can use for multiple purposes. For nearby alligators, it produces hissing and whining sounds which have a low sound pressure level, or SPL for short, while for long-distance communication, it produces bellows which have a high SPL. These communications can relay information about the alligator's size, where one is located, and even be used in families to maintain group cohesion. Furthermore, young gators can also use their vocals to alert its parent when it's in danger, and even embryos create specific sounds to notify mothers when they're about to hatch, a useful tool to say the least. A different tool the Chinese alligator also uses to thrive in its environment is burrowing. As it turns out, this crocodilian is very good at digging, which it does by utilizing its head and front legs. It constructs these burrows into small bodies of water and, like communication, uses these burrows for multiple reasons. The main one, however, is for brumation, which is a state or condition of sluggishness or inactivity, which is seen in reptiles during winter or extended periods of low temperature. It usually begins this brumation period during late October, before emerging in early May. But even after this period of time, the burrows don't go to waste and often act as a retreat site for individuals or a place to shelter from the sun during hot summer days. It may not sound fun to have your retreat be underground, but it turns out that the Chinese alligator actually spends a large amount of time making these burrows quite large and comfy, with many measuring 10 to 25 meters or 33 to 80 feet long and containing multiple rooms, entrances, and even pools. The only downside of these luxury burrows is that they often lead to yet more conflict with humans, as they sometimes cause destruction of farm dikes. Fortunately, not all humans are out to get these guys, and in recent years, extensive effort has been made to repopulate China with Chinese alligators, with over 20,000 being bred through breeding programs. These programs have a dual purpose of releasing both groups of specimens back into the wild and acting as a research center into this species, with the hopes being that one day they can finally return to their former glory.